Well, welcome back to Amundson Family Music Podcast. We're sure good you're here. I'm not sure whether you're listening with just audio or if you can see us, but I have bedhead today, so I'm wearing my hat. Sonora's looking great. She was at were you at the beauty salon earlier?
Something like that.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Maybe bat your lashes at them. Maybe they'll notice.
Got my lashes done.
So we're kind of Beauty and the Beast today. I've been working on things on the farm. The gator died.
Oh no.
Yeah, like the good gator. The one that can actually go through the mud and stuff.
What happened?
Well, I guess I'm not sure yet. I'm checking on a few issues. I think it's a fuel issue. What do you call that? Troubleshooting.
Troubleshooting.
Yeah. So, any of you mechanics out there, it's got spark. It's getting the fuel pumps working. But for some reason, and it's turning over, but for some reason it's not firing. So I got a few more things to check on before I call in for recruitments.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Of course, Grandpa hasn't been here the last couple of days. Does he know?
No, he doesn't know yet. He'll know whenever this episode will come out. Oh no, he'll find out soon enough. So the reason I miss it, well, first of all, without the gator, I have to check all the cows on foot. Now, we do have the other little gator, but it can get stuck pretty easy. Yeah, like you wouldn't even want to drive this where a cow is peed on the ground. You'd get stuck. And we have 2 calves to tag this afternoon.
Ooh.
Or after this episode if you want to help.
Yeah.
We'll have to take the old gator out.
Are we going to get stuck?
Maybe.
Well, hey, that's the fun.
Well, I had to go check cows out in the rain today. So I had my coat on, my rain jacket, but it was fun. And I also have a few traps out to check at the same time. But I like to get out for a walk. You know, there's something about living here that it's a little harder just to go out and do exercise. When we were back home in Park Valley in Saskatchewan, it seemed like so much that we did just took exercise. Like the work that I did, I had my sawmill. You helped out a lot with that. It was exercising. To go one place or to go to the other, it was nice to walk. We had a lot of forest around where we could just go walking and trailing, and
Yeah.
it was just easier to get exercise. Do you find that?
100%. You walked everywhere and everything you did was outside. Like, I remember Jonathan telling a story, and he said one time the bobcat broke down at, I think, Grandpa's house, and the truck was at our house in Canada. So what is that, like, what, 4 miles?
Yeah.
About 4 miles. And he was just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I gotta go walk and get the truck. And then apparently the truck wasn't there, so he's like, oh, guess I gotta walk back. So he walked there and he walked back. No big deal. Where around here it's like, oh, I don't want to walk across the yard.
You hop on the gator.
You hop on the gator, and everybody looks at you weird if you're walking.
I know. Isn't that the truth? When we first moved here especially, we'd go for walks and we'd have people stop on the side of the road and wonder if we're okay.
Are you stranded? Did your car break down?
Yeah. Or you better be careful. Someone might hitchhike you or kidnap you from Highway 40 here.
Right. Well, yeah, it's so weird. And like everything we did was outside. Like we would always, like if we ever, it was hard to keep us inside, I think, for part of the childhood. Like we had our trampoline outside. We had our animals outside. We had all our toys outside. And, if it was supper time, oh man, got to go inside.
Having a smaller house helped with that too.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
It wasn't a huge house.
Definitely.
I remember when I lived where Uncle Stanley lives right now, before we were married, I lived there, and all the cattle were back at Dad's house. That was 4 miles away. I'd walk every morning. For quite a while I did that.
Really?
Walk or ski or ride bike.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think being out in the country helped a lot too. Like maybe if we had lived in the city or something, we wouldn't be outside as much. I don't know. But we had miles and miles and miles of backyard, I guess, where you could, like you said, ski, or you could quad, 4-wheel, anywhere. You could walk. You could do everything outside.
Do you know what? I think I know why. Is because everything here is so much faster paced. Like, who has time to walk? because you got to get this done and you got to get this done. And it's just the way things are. It's living the American dream.
Yeah, I definitely feel like time here is going by fast.
Like up in Canada, we're on what they call, I don't know if we're supposed to say the Indian time. Like it's just
First Nation time?
what's the hurry?
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Walk. Hey, might as well walk. It's healthier.
Have all day.
It's so much better for the mind.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get time to think.
Yeah, think or sing. I learned how to sing while walking around or going for quad rides or...
Well, and when the quad's running, you can sing at the top of your lungs and nobody will hear you. That's the best part.
Yeah, I remember I used to go check my traps after school, and I would go down that road, where the Orsteads live and all that. And I would sing as loud as I could, and I thought no one heard me. Until one time at some event, my Auntie Gladys said, "Oh yeah, I can hear you sing every time you go by."
Oh no.
Of course, she'd be out in the garden. Another outdoor thing.
Yeah. It's funny because I hear a lot of people who do this, like, there's internet challenges that go around, and I hear of people doing this 100 hours a year outside. And when I first heard that, I was like, you do that in a week, right?
A week.
Okay, maybe not quite a week, but you know what I mean. And so they're doing this challenge. They're like, I think I can make it 100 hours outside. But I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong, obviously, but I feel like we surpassed that by far.
Oh, yeah. But here I'm finding that, that could be a challenge.
It would be a challenge. Because, you're just, especially in the summer when, like, you literally die if you're outside. But.
Right.
And it's not only, like you were talking about the faster pace, it's not only walking, but it's also driving. Like, I don't know if you noticed, well, obviously you did, but the speed limits here are so much higher. Like, okay, I'm gonna have to do some converting here from kilometers to miles. But, so back home, highway speeds are usually 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, so about 62 miles an hour.
Hey Siri.
See if I'm right.
What's 100 kilometers an hour in miles per hour? 60. Yeah, 62. How did you know that?
Well, it's because I grew up with Imperial.
Right.
Until metric came in when I was young. So I was familiar with
That's
both.
That's true. Okay, so if you think about this, so our, like, highway speeds, like, are 100 in Canada, and 62 are that little almost black paved road.
Secondary highway.
Secondary, tiny little highway that goes by our house, 65.
And most people are going 70.
Most people are going 70.
Or 75.
Or more. Now, our highways, like the one that I go from here to work, now also these are 2-lane highways, so obviously you can go a little faster. It's 70. The speed limit is 70. So what's that in kilometers? What's 70 miles an hour in kilometers? 112.
Okay.
So it's about in Saskatoon, there was that one highway.
When you got a double lane.
Yeah, you go about 110. Now, there's something around here called the turnpike. Those go 80. Everybody's going 100.
80 miles.
80 miles an hour. To keep up with the traffic, you are going usually 90 to 100. Mm-hmm. If you want to get places, you're going 110 miles an hour. So say you're going 100.
Okay, let's hear what that is.
100 miles an hour in kilometers. 160 kilometers an hour. So there's a road, there's a highway, double lane, in between Muskogee and Tulsa. So the town I work in and a Baker City. And yeah, everybody's going about 100, and that's 100 miles an hour, and that's 160 kilometers an hour.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
But I don't want the answer.
Okay.
How fast? Don't answer, 'cause I don't want to know.
Nah.
How fast are you going with lights and sirens? Like, that's what I think about sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so don't answer that.
Well, actually,
and don't ever tell me.
Actually, no, actually I can, because we have a governor on our ambulance, and it caps off at 87, which, I mean, you go way faster in your vehicle.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so 87 miles an hour in kilometers.
The answer is 100.
So our ambulances can only go 140, and that's pushing it.
I'm impressed that you used the word governor in that instance.
Oh.
That's an old engine term.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we use those. So yeah, our engines cap off at 140 kilometers an hour or 87 miles an hour, and that's as fast as we can go. So when you're going to Tulsa, so say we run patients hot
You
to
got
Tulsa.
people passing you.
Well, sometimes. Most people are polite enough, but sometimes they'll decide to hang back. But I have had people pass me going lights and sirens but yeah, so if we're running somebody hot to Tulsa, and the only time we really do that, so because Muskogee has a smaller hospital, but Tulsa has a trauma hospital. That's where the trauma hospitals are. So if there's like a car wreck and like you need a critical care hospital, you will run them hot to Tulsa. And the fastest we can go is 140.
Oh, I see.
Which seems so slow, but in Canada, that you wouldn't even think of going on 40.
So there you go. The pace is just faster.
Yeah.
I think okay, we're going to get into some differences. I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it because the Americans won't understand the Canadian side and the Canadian won't side the American side.
Right.
But everyone has to work so hard here to keep up with the American dream.
Oh, 100%.
And it's just so fast. In Canada, at least where we were, we didn't have to worry about that. We were out in the country, didn't have to make as much, so you didn't have to work as hard. Now, when it was time for haying or harvest or seeding, yeah, you worked hard and you worked long hours. But other than that, it's not like it was a life or death situation that, man, I'm not going to make my payment for this third house or for my Corvette if I don't work so many hours a week.
Yeah. Well, and even the people at my work, like, just for a regular small house, maybe they have a couple kids and they have 2 vehicles, maybe old vehicles at that. They have to, sometimes they'll be like, yeah, I got to pick up a couple of shifts to make ends meet. And I mean, yeah, they're probably spending money on stuff that doesn't need to be spent on, which is a big thing. But, there's people at my work who will work. If you're from my work and you're listening to this, I'm not putting you down or anything because I do the same thing. There's people who will work 8 or more days in a row. And I'm not talking about 9 to 5. I'm talking about 12-hour shifts because we do 12-hour shifts. And that's if you get off on time. There are days when you get a call 10 minutes before you're supposed to get off and you have to take them to Tulsa and you get off 2 or more hours late. So if you think of it, 12 times, well, even just in a week, what's 12 times 7?
62? I don't know.
Man, this is embarrassing. Okay, so you're working 84 hours in a week.
There's my math. Oops.
84 hours in a week. And back to the 100 hours in a year. If you're thinking about that.
Of outside.
Just think, if you do 12 hours every day for a week, you almost meet that. But instead, these people are working for that much. And I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
I remember last year on my birthday, I think I'd worked 7 or 8 days in a row.
I mean, I had to get the car fixed, so I'm going to pick up a few extra shifts.
Yeah.
Or I had to go on this holiday, and you want to keep, a sane amount of money in your account, so you work some extra hours. I understand that.
And it could just be my job. Like, for example, when I was working at the restaurant, if I picked up a shift, it would make like $30 more in my paycheck. But for me, for my job anyways, if you pick up a shift,
it makes a lot more difference.
It makes a difference because you're making, your however much we're making for 12 hours. Plus, if we do overtime, oftentimes if you pick up one shift, you're already overtime because we work 84 hours a week. But not only that, you also have when they're desperate for people, they don't have enough people on the schedule, they'll say, if you work today, we'll give you a $200 bonus or a $400 bonus. So you could pick up one shift and make an extra $500.
So there's some incentive there for sure.
There is, yeah.
So in light of all of this, the sad part of it for me is when everyone's working so hard, where are the kids?
That's the thing.
They're in daycare.
Yeah.
Or they're out doing whatever they want, or doing whatever they want.
Yep.
And that's where the mess is coming in. So I am so glad, I'm so blessed that I was able to raise, and Mom and I were able to raise you kids where we could spend time with you,
Right.
and where I didn't feel like I had to be away from the home all the time.
Yeah.
So I am thankful for that. And now I know that there's those that do it, and I admire them that can do it, raise a good family while having to be away.
But yeah, I know I'm glad that, you didn't work away from home.
Well, I asked the Lord to provide me work. I asked the Lord to provide me work where I could be home, and it wasn't the best livelihood, I know, but
I'm thankful for it.
yeah. There's way more to life than money. So Nate was supposed to come and drum for us.
Guess he forgot.
Hello. But anyways, do you want to give it a try anyways?
Sure.
So talking about good old down home fun and relaxing and making use of freedom, here's an Alabama song that you're going to sing for us.
All right.
Oh, Alabama. I have good memories. So we would go to Gord Vaudlin's house, and downstairs where his room was, he had a record player, and we'd put on an LP of Alabama.
Really?
And we'd listen to this song, and we'd sing all the youth would just sing to the top of their lungs
Really?
this song.
Listen.
Oh yeah. And other Alabama songs. They were popular in the 80s.
This one is called
Dixieland Delight. Is that C we did that in?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just going to move the mic down a little bit.
Okay. Keep the beat neat. Rolling down backward, Tennessee byway. One arm on the wheel, holding my lover with the other. Sweet, soft southern thrill. Worked hard all week, got a little jingle on a Tennessee Saturday night. Couldn't feel better, I'm together with my Dixieland Delight. Spend my dollar, parked in a holler neath the mountain moonlight. Hold her up tight, make a little oven, a little turtle dovin' on a Mason Dixon night. Fits my life, oh so right, my Dixieland Delight. White-tailed buck deer munching on a clover, red-tailed hawk sitting on a limb, chubby old groundhog croaking bullfrog, free as a feeling in the wind. Homegrown country girl gonna give me a one on a Tennessee Saturday night. Lucky at 7, living in heaven with my Dixieland Delight. Spend my dollar, parked in a holler near the mountain moonlight. Hold her up tight, make a little oven, a little turtle dovin' on a Mason Dixon night. Fits my life, oh so right, with my Dixieland Delight.
That's a fun song.
Yeah, it's fun.
You missed out. I know you can hear it online now because obviously you got to hear this song, but you missed out on some pretty good music.
Yeah.
Yep. And I missed out on music before me.
Right.
But it's good that we can listen to these things. And
Yeah. I try to listen to some old country once in a while. Yeah, Spotify helps a lot.
now, and these guys were on the edge in the 80s when we listened to them. A little bit different because we also listened to Hank Williams and old country like
Marty Robbins.
Marty Robbins,
and I
yeah.
like him.
So many good songs. I don't know why we had a hard time thinking of a song to sing for this podcast, but there's just so many good ones. Like, where do
Yeah.
you start?
I think we had too many to pick from.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, so I guess Nate missed that song totally.
Yeah. Well,
You know, do you have a verse for today?
I could probably find a verse. See my highlighted verses.
Anytime you're ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, this is kind of a downer verse, but it was the first one I could find.
Is there such a thing?
Well, not a downer verse, but it's kind of like a bullet to the head.
Oh.
If you know what I mean. Okay, it says
Oh,
Deuteronomy.
Okay.
Maybe a little harsh.
That's harsh, yeah.
Okay, Deuteronomy 8, verse 19 to 20. If you ever forget the Lord your God and follow other gods and worship and bow down to them, I testify against you today that you will surely be destroyed. Like the nations the Lord destroyed before you, so you will be destroyed for not obeying the Lord your God. So, obey the Lord your God.
Wow.
Boom.
So we just read that verse in church a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, in Dallas when we were there.
Oh, well, I guess I wasn't paying attention.
That's probably why you have it highlighted.
Maybe. Wait. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, shot to the head, kind of a wake-up call. Like, boom.
Yeah. We can't just coast along and live life the way we think we should or can.
And that's easy to do. It's easy to get into a rut where you're not really going backwards and you're not really going forward.
Yeah, it's like I've always said, you can't stay in one spot when walking with the Lord. It's like riding a bike uphill. You have to keep pedaling or else you go backwards.
Yeah, that's something I talked about a while ago. Like, it's not relaxing. I'll put it that way, another downer, but like it's work. Because yeah, it is riding a bike. You're always constantly going to have people or situations or just stuff just trying to take you down. It's like you're just pulling weight up a hill and you just nothing, and it never stops. You have to keep fighting. And the second you stop fighting, you fall.
Well, we have someone fighting against us, right?
That's
Just ready
true.
to pull you back. But it makes me think about the verse where he says, we remember Christ who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross and endured all sorts of bad things that were put against him, but for the joy that was set before him. So that's why we do it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good verse.
It is. Well, it makes you think. Well, a good note to end on.
Remember that.
Remember that. Well, thanks again for tuning in. Like again, if you have any comments on YouTube here, you can comment or check out our website, email us, shoot us a message. If you want to support what we're doing, there's a donation link there, usually.
Yeah.
And yeah, just get a hold of us. Let us know what you
Look
think.
who decided to show up. All right. Well, bye, y'all.
All right,
See you next
bye.
time.